Southeast Asia is usually one of the first places that people who want to live their life nomadically try. Why? Well, it's because it's fun, it's because it's warm weather, because it's cheap, because there are a lot of expats there, and so on. But what people do not take into consideration is that it may not be just a place to spend a couple of months, but it can actually be a very good place to live. Hey there, it's Irena here from Nomad Capitalist, where we help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs to go where they're treated best. So whether you're looking at Southeast Asia as just a couple of months to spend a couple of months at, or are you looking at the place where you actually want to live, there are a lot of cities there that can be good for you. A lot of them are different, of course. So we'll go over some of the best cities in our opinion and some of the best ones that I would recommend as well. The first one is my all-time favorite, and that is Bali in Indonesia. I cannot even start to explain how great of a place that is. Me personally, I spent a month there, and I would love to have a possibility to spend there more than that. The reason why is because it's well connected in terms of connected to the big airports. So for example, there are non-stop flights to for cities like Singapore, Hong Kong, Doha, in Qatar, and so on. From Bali to Doha, and then Doha pretty much has flights going anywhere. So it's very easy to go there. The flight may be long, but it's easy to go there. Apart from that, the weather is amazing. Earlier they had kind of the rainy seasons and the summer seasons and so on, but because of the climate change, you cannot no longer really know when the rainy season will happen, unfortunately. But the weather is generally very good. People there that's the best thing. Balinese people are very kind. They want to go above and beyond to help you. And in addition to that, if you kind of get sick of spending time with them, you have a lot of expats there. There are a lot of expats and a lot of restaurants or meditation or yoga kind of places or spas or anything like that are actually owned by the foreigners, by the expats, and only foreigners go there. I remember I met one woman there who was from the UK, and she was spending there. She spent there 6 months. She was traveling alone. And she was like, "Well, I met a lot of people when I went to the mediation class, for example, or something like that." And she said the people go there alone to meet people. That's why you love Bali, because it provides you with a lot of opportunities for a lot of things. I'm actually in love with Bali, so okay, maybe someone else who has a bit of a more wider opinion can talk about this. But either way, so if you want to move to Bali, Bali doesn't have, Indonesia generally doesn't have a lot of possibilities when it comes to visa. They've been talking about the digital nomad visa for a long time, even before COVID. But then they decided that they don't want to proceed with it. So what they offer now for you would be kind of the long stay visa. So with that long stay visa, you can stay up to a year. You have to renew it, but you can renew it while you're there. So you have to spend a year you can spend a year in Indonesia, and then you have to get out. It may be useful to check out if that is really a place where you want to spend your time. So why not? You can check that possibility. Apart from this, if you really want to stay longer immediately, there are a couple of options. The first one would be the investor stay permit. So what does this mean? This means that if you are a foreigner who owns shares into an Indonesian company, then you can get residency, you can stay longer in Indonesia. The second option would be work permit, basically, where you would get employed by an Indonesian company and then have a work permit and can work there. And the third option, of course, would be the spousal visa, in case that you're married to the Indonesian citizen or anything like that, then you can get residency that way. So you see, Indonesia doesn't really have a lot of good options and easy options for you to get a residency there. But again, you can spend up to a year there with your long stay visa. After that, if you like it, then you can explore some of these options. So let's move on to another place. Another place would be Hong Kong. Hong Kong is not as cheap as Bali is. Well, prices in Bali are pretty much going up every day because of the expats, so use the opportunity and go there while you still can. But with Hong Kong, it's a bit more expensive, but it's an amazing place when it comes to opportunities, investment opportunities, gold, bank accounts. Like it's really an amazing place. So taxation system in Hong Kong is also very good, so you have a lot of benefits there. Again, one pretty much bad thing is that it's a bit expensive. And Hong Kong currently still doesn't have a residency option that would be an easy one to get. They've been talking about a visa that got suspended in 2015, which is called SAR. It got suspended in 2015, and they've been talking about relaunching it for quite a while now, and it's expected to be relaunched in the mid 2024. So let's say approximately at summer this year, it may be possible again, and you can actually get your residency in Hong Kong that way. So let's go to the third city actually, and that would be Manila, Philippines. Generally fascinating place with beautiful nature. It's number one, I think. Well, not number one. Number one for me is still Bali, but would be probably one of the top 5 destination places where people go. It's an amazing place to explore because there are a lot of hidden gems, let's say, in Philippines. It's even cheaper than Bali. Again, Bali was very cheap earlier, but right now the prices are pretty much going up. Philippines is cheaper than that. Apart from that, I don't think that Manila airport is very, very well connected, but you know, they're connected to some of the bigger cities from where you can travel later on. In Philippines, you do not have also a lot of opportunities to get residency there, but there is a SRRV visa that you can get, which is pretty similar as the Thai elite visa. Previous Thai elite visa, where you have different categories, and based on that, the investment is different and the requirements are different. But this is basically on paper for retired people. But the minimum age in Philippines for retirement is 35. So if you're above 35, and then you can apply for this SRRV visa in Philippines. The next city that I'll mention is Bangkok in Thailand. Again, very cheap. I would say that it's not super amazingly well connected, but it's definitely better than, for example, Manila. It's again an amazing place because of the people there. They're very welcoming and they're very helpful, and the lifestyle is just different there. With all of these cities, generally, not just with Bangkok, I would recommend spending some time and see if you can actually get used to that lifestyle, because it's different. It has a territorial taxation system, which means that the foreign income is not taxable if it's not remitted to Thailand, right? So, which is very good. After the period of 10 years, you can try to get the Thai citizenship. And how you can get one? You can get it with Thai investor's visa. With Thai investor's visa, you can get it by investing into real estate, bonds, or making a bank deposit, or the combination of these 3, and the amount needs to be approximately 300,000 US dollars. So the next city is Singapore. Pretty similar to Hong Kong, expensive as hell, but it's a very good opportunity for investors, for business owners. Singapore is the only country, I think, in Southeast Asia that has this many investment opportunities and so on. So Singapore is a very good place to live. Also has a lot of expats living there, but again, bad thing is that it's expensive. Also, in order to get residency in Singapore, it would be very expensive to get it. If you're not, of course, employed, if you do not get a work permit or something like that, there is an option to get an investor visa, basically, global investor program actually in Singapore. However, for that, you would need to invest approximately $7.5 million to either an existing business or new business in Singapore. And this is the cheapest option. So there are other options, but it will cost you more. So because of this, it's very hard to go to Singapore, and of course, very expensive. And this is not just a one-time thing. Rent there is crazy, and the living expenses generally are crazy. So this would only work if you're 100% sure that this is a place for you to live until the end of your life, basically, and that's it. Let's move on to another city, and that is Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. We've been talking a lot about Malaysia because we simply love Malaysia. Again, one of the most beautiful things there for me, that is people, very kind and very helpful, and just smiling all the way through, walking down the street and just having that smile. I've never seen that in Eastern Europe, trust me. So that's why we love Kuala Lumpur and generally Malaysia. It's a cheap place. The humidity is one thing that I'm not sure if I can me personally, that I can live there just because of that. But a lot of people say that they got used to it very quickly. So we love Malaysia all in all. One of the ways to get a residency in Malaysia would be through the MM2H program. We've been talking about that a lot as well. The MM2H program was a bit unstable. A lot of changes happened and a lot of changes that they're planning to do. But currently, what you need to do is to prove that you have an offshore income of at least $8,400, $500 per month, have a liquid assets of at least $315,000, and deposit approximately $210,000 into the Malaysian bank account. Again, there are some changes that are coming, but one thing to keep in mind is that this option cannot lead you to citizenship, but it is valid for 10 years, after which it can be renewed with some of the requirements, of course. These are some of the cities in Southeast Asia that we would recommend you explore. My recommendation would be a road trip. You can go there and spend 2 years there. Why not? You could spend, 3 months in Bali, 3 months in Thailand, 3 months in Philippines, 3 months in Kuala Lumpur, 3 months in Singapore. Actually, 1 month in Singapore, 1 month in Hong Kong, so that you do not end up bankrupt. And see what is your favorite place, and then apply for a visa. We always recommend that people go to a country where they want to live, of course, before actually applying for a visa, because you gotta make sure that that's your place and that you will stay there, and that's it. So let us know what you think, and let us know what would be some of your favorite cities and where do you live currently in Southeast Asia, and maybe we can add it to the list. Why not? And make sure to subscribe.